Good evening, everybody. Let me just make sure my equipment is working properly. If you don't mind putting in the chat box to make sure that there's volume and that you can hear me and that everything is okay, that you can see me and you can hear me. So hopefully this is working. We're going to get started tonight. I want to make this brief but extremely informative for you. So tonight we're going to be doing some basic essential oil information. We're going to talk about why we use essential oils, why they're important to have, what role they play in our health, how to use them, how to save money, and I'm going to share some of my favorites. So before we get into all of that, I want to just share a little bit about what my journey has been with this, just because I think some of you might be able to relate to this. So, I had already been utilizing some things in the natural health world and looking at how I could make my health better and my family's health better. And I was actually also going to school for naturopathy training and a degree in that. And I realized that there was kind of this gap, and I just couldn't help but feel like there was something that needed to fill this gap. So that's when I started hearing about essential oils. The thing I did when I first started, though, was I went to the grocery store and I bought essential oils. And I thought that they were just to smell good. So I started adding them to my cleaning products and my DIY things. And they did that. They did smell good for that. But what I didn't know at the time and what I've learned since is that there's a lot more to essential oils than just a good smell. And we're going to talk about that tonight. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about why we choose to use essential oils is and for me, for my family, but also in my practice with my clients and for helping them meet their health goals too. So like I said, they fill a gap that many things can't fill. We utilize a lot of therapies and things like that, like nutritional therapy, and dietary adjustments and things like that. But I'm going to share with you a few facts on how the essential oils actually fill a space that none of those can fill, which is pretty fascinating. So one of the ways that they do that is by reaching the emotional region of our brain that is accessed by only one method, and that is by the sense of smell. The sense of smell is the only one of our senses, the only way that this emotional region of our brain can be accessed. This is important because this is the region that is also responsible for where our emotions, our stored memories, and things like that are stored in our body. And this is important if you've learned about the emotional roots of physical issues, because you know that they might show up in different parts of our body and cause a health issue. And we might think we have excess weight in this area, or we have a right shoulder, right elbow, or right something that just keeps bugging us. Or we might have this just that one side of our hip that keeps bugging us, or that one side of our neck, or something like that, or maybe even something growing that shouldn't grow in a certain part of our body. And the fascinating part is sometimes those are where we're storing toxic emotions or memories, feelings that we haven't dealt with. And the cool part about that is essential oils access the part of our brain that deals with that in a way that nothing else can. So just right there's one massive benefit to essential oils. Can you lose weight by smelling essential oils? Possibly. It may require other things, but it can definitely help. So that's just one example. If you think about this in this way, we are always breathing in smells. Some of them are natural, some of them are not. One of the cool things is when we implement these kind of pure aromatic plant oils into our daily life, into the products that we're using every day, we're getting these benefits every time we use soap on our hands, every time we use shampoo, every time we do these things, we're actually getting these benefits. Our lotion, our soap, our shampoo is accessing this part of our brain that helps with these emotions and these stored memories if they contain pure aromatic oil. So that's just one powerful thing of many. Another thing is that essential oils communicate with our DNA to help protect it from being altered and to repair it. So you may have heard of epigenetics, which is basically how our environment can alter our genetics. So we might say, well, that's hereditary. And maybe it is, but it's more so about the environmental factors that are altering the DNA. Essential oils that are very pure, they communicate with our DNA in a way to help us combat that onslaught to our DNA. One drop of a pure aromatic plant oil contains enough molecules to cover every cell in our body with 40,000 molecules. And it only takes one molecule of the right kind from a pure aromatic plant oil to open a receptor site and communicate with our DNA. It's pretty awesome what's going on. Some other things that essential oils can do that other things cannot do, or that other things maybe can't do as well, include oxygenating the brain, improving our mood and our mental health, supporting our body's flora, not just our gut flora, but our skin flora, because as some of you may already know, we have more bacteria than we have cells. And without the good bacteria, we don't do well. And also to naturally clean and purify the air. But that includes also our laundry and all kinds of other things, and not just masking it with chemicals like most products do. If you look at PubMed and type up essential oils, it will bring up, the last time I did this, it's been a little while, 23,000 medical studies published on essential oils and their therapeutic properties. So it definitely fills a need in the therapeutic realm for natural health. And it's all been verified and shown in medical literature as well. So that's why we say there's an oil for that, because each of these oils have different properties, but they all work in so many different ways that one of them might work for 10 different things, because they're pure in their nature. They're found in nature in a natural synergy with a variety of compounds, which we'll get into. So the other thing that, of course, I love about them is that they provide us an alternative to some of the unhealthy things that might be reached for at the store, that maybe will just mask symptoms, but not actually help with the situation, the health issue itself. Also, it is one of the best things to tackle some of the more harmful bacteria, viruses, and things like that, because it doesn't kill the good stuff like other things do. Even colloidal silver kills the good guys, the good flora that we don't want to kill, peroxide and things like that. So it offers a really great alternative to some of the more natural things that we might tend to reach for as well. So those are just a few examples of why we use essential oils. I'm going to share with you really briefly ways to use them. But if you go over to my website, you can actually get my free essential oils class that has a free ebook, and that'll go into more about the use and everything. I just want to show you kind of how they're used, so you get a feel for like, what does that look like in the daily life then, if you're looking to just really reap all of the benefits that they can provide for your health. So one of the ways is by diffusing, and for that we use a diffuser. There's lots of options for that, and you don't have to be picky or selective with that kind of thing. Most of them are water-based, and so you're going to put water in it and then add the essential oils to it. So that's a great way to utilize the benefits for supporting your mood and brain health, cleaning and purifying the air, naturally removing odors, and also support functions of the body like hormones and blood sugar. Because when we inhale these, again, they access regions of our brain that are responsible for all different body functions, including our hormones and all those kinds of things, our entire endocrine system. And also, of course, one of the biggest things too is to replace using diffusers and oil diffuse to replace toxic air fresheners, candles, and room sprays, which is huge. A lot of people will, ask me how I have the hormone health and the energy and everything that I do at my age of 45, almost 45, I should say. I'm still 44. I'm going to hold on to that for a couple more months. But getting rid of the toxic chemicals in our home absolutely plays a massive role in that. And so just being able to throw all those out, and then instead of not having them, but replacing them with something that, as we talked about, is having all of these processes on our DNA and our brain and all that kind of stuff is incredible. So that's diffusing, and this is just kind of one example of a diffuser. For those who are new to that kind of thing, it's just very simple. This one has never been used, so it still has stickers on it and things like that. But you're basically just going to put some water in it and put your essential oils in that. So you would just put water in there and fill it up and let it run. So the another way is using the essential oils topically, and I will show that to you for those who are new to this. As before we started the class, I took some oil and I put it on my hand and I rubbed it on my neck. You can put it on your wrists, you can put it on your feet, you can put it on your tummy if your tummy is uncomfortable, things like that. We'll talk about that with some of the specific uses for them as well. You can use it as a natural perfume or cologne, which is going to help you eliminate lots of really nasty chemicals as well. The thing about topical use is that when you put them on topically, they enter your bloodstream very fast. So they're going through your whole body very quickly. So they're benefiting all kinds of areas of your health, including your hormones, your respiratory health. You can breathe it in that way. You can diffuse it, put it on the chest for respiratory health. Just all kinds of things for helping when there's discomfort, when there's aches, when there's, tummy stuff going on. You put it on and get some results really fast. And that's the cool thing about using them also, is getting results really quickly when you need something to feel better quickly. Other ways are using them, in the bath, on dryer balls instead of the toxic laundry dryer sheets, in your soaps, your shampoos, your lotions. There's so many things that I could tell you on all of that. And another way you can use them topically, you can actually put on roller tops and roll them on. You can replace these regular tops that drip out into roller tops, which I'm not even finding right now, but I will find some. And you can also put spray tops on there. So this is one I will be talking about too, because every home needs that one. And then internally, so I know that this is highly debated and very controversial, but these are some that are labeled for dietary or internal use. And there's a lot of really great medical literature out there showing that these are very beneficial in many ways for supporting the gut, the liver, detoxification, the gallbladder, all kinds of things. So that's just another method of use for those who choose it. The fact is that you're already consuming essential oils. In fact, I think I am in this. This has a twist of lime. When it says natural flavors, lime, that is a lime essential oil. When you see sodas that have a citrus flavor and it's a natural flavor, or tea companies are actually the largest consumer of citrus essential oils, because that is what their natural flavor comes from, is actually essential oils. So if you're consuming teas, sodas, you'll see nutmeg oil in some natural foods now. If you're using peppermint extract, that's peppermint oil plus alcohol. So lots of it already being consumed anyway. Fortunately, if we choose a very good quality one, it can provide a lot of really health benefits when used properly. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about using them safely, because I know that this scares some people off. And the biggest thing that I'm going to talk to you about is basically that as long as you're using truly a therapeutic oils, you're not going to have to be too concerned with this. There's one author, he is the professor of, I can't remember, the School of Aromatic Studies, and he basically takes a less alarmist approach that you might find, which is backed by medical research, and that really, truly There's a lot of room to experiment when you're dealing with pure oils, and not so much room where you have to be so alarmed and worried about it. When I've had people contact me with issues, it's because they were using an impure oil, and that's what caused the problem. So purity is actually the biggest factor when it comes to using essential oils safely. For example, there is more lavender oil sold in the US than there is actually lavender oil produced. So it's lavender oil. A lot of the lavender oil sold is adulterated in some way. So sometimes that could mean something as innocent as it being lavandin oil, which is a lavender hybrid. And that may still have some beneficial properties to it, but it is very different than the properties that we associate with lavender oil. For instance, we might grab a lavender oil when we touch a hot stove, and that would be great if it was pure lavender oil. But a lot of the lavender oil that's labeled lavender oil and can be labeled as lavender oil in the US is actually lavandin, which can actually make a burn worse. So again, safety is purity. There's other ways that these essential oils can be adulterated. Sometimes it's not with a plant material. Sometimes it's with really dangerous chemicals like turpentine or things like that. So, this is not going to be listed on the bottle. So you're not going to know by reading the label. Another thing that might be found and is commonly found in and not tested very often at all, you might see a company say, here's our lab results, and this is actually lavender. And it might very well be. But the problem is that are they testing it for heavy metals, pesticides, things like that? Because like I said, when you're putting an essential oil on your skin, it's getting absorbed in your bloodstream very quickly, as is any toxins that are coming with that condensed plant form. And that could be heavy metals, pesticides, things like that. So it's really imperative that these are also being tested every single batch, every single bottle for heavy metals and pesticides and things like that. So the risks from using impure oils are actually quite high. You can sometimes determine that by the price of a product, because it is very expensive to produce a pure oil in most cases. Citrus oils like orange and things like that are actually a little bit less expensive to produce, and so those can be quite inexpensive and still be good quality. But when it comes to steam distilled oils, that is a more expensive process. So just as let's see here, before we get into that, one of the things is, I talked about how sometimes it's lavandin and not lavender. When you're buying a peppermint from the store, it's usually almost always corn mint. And actually, there are some companies that people buy from online that are quite spendy, and their peppermint is actually corn mint as well. So it will not say that on the bottle. You have to know your grower. You have to know where you're getting it from. But when you do, you will get something that is truly powerful for your health. So let's talk about saving money, because we just talked about how you can't really just go out and buy the cheap ones, because you're going to waste your money. If you buy the cheap ones, if you buy the oils that aren't pure, or they just don't have any therapeutic properties to them, that is a complete waste of money, and that's not saving you any money at all. So let's look at how we can save money by not buying something that's worthless. Let's look at, I just want to give you a couple of examples. So cypress oil is something that, for instance, needs 24 hours of distillation in this cooker, we call it, at 245 degrees and 5 pounds of pressure, which is a very low amount of pressure. It needs that long, that full 24 hours, in order for all of the natural therapeutic constituents to be released into the final steam distilled oil. Less than 22 hours of distillation, and 18 to 20 of those therapeutic properties that are meant to be in the oil are missing. That's if you distill it for less than 22 hours. Here's the thing though, almost all distilling operations in the world distill it for 1 hour and 15 minutes. So that's a complete waste of money. You're not getting the natural therapeutic properties. If you want to spend money on something that's just going to smell good, then that might be an option for you. If you want it to fill a gap in your health, that's not going to work. Lavender, again, for example, let's take lavender. I just had lavender. So in France, it's standard procedure. Everybody says you need to buy an oil where it originates from, and that's where it's going to be most beneficial. But here's the thing: if you buy oil from most sources of France, which sounds great, they're distilling it at 350 degrees and up to 155 pounds of pressure for 15 minutes. This results in a very poor quality lavender oil. It needs at least 100 or 1.5 hours versus the 15 minutes that they do in France. It needs 1.5 hours at no higher than 240 degrees, not the 350 degrees that they do that, and 0 pounds of pressure in order for it to actually be a therapeutic oil, for it to have the benefits that we are looking for it to have when we touch the hot stove, when we need to relax at night, and those kinds of things. This is not done usually because it's an expensive process. And so that's, again, where if you're looking to save money, but you cut corners on the cost, you're also likely throwing your money away on something that really doesn't have what you're looking for it to do. And that is why a lot of people will say, I've tried essential oils and they don't work. That's why. So to get good oils and save money, my first tip is just to not spend money on oils that don't work, like I did when I first started. We have a lot of ways that you can save money on truly good quality oils. And what I'm going to tell you is I spent years researching this because I knew at the time when I started digging into this, I had a pretty large audience, and I took their trust very seriously. And I did not want to come out with something that I would find out later was harming them in any way. So I spent a lot of time researching this, and I have been to the labs and been to farms, and I have been a part of the distillation process. And so having been through all of that, talking to the scientists, seeing the results and things like that, I'm going to share with you how you can save money on the Young Living brand essential oils, because that is where I truly believe you are guaranteed to get what you're looking for. I have information on other companies. People are like, what about this company? What about this company? I've seen court documents. I've seen the labs. I've seen these things. I've talked to the scientists. And I literally have not found any other ones that I can safely say, yes, go for it with those. So I am going to be speaking only on Young Living essential oils and how you can get those and save money still. So we have lots of tips for you on that. And actually, so if you have an Oily Friends member of my community who has invited you to this, ask them, first of all, for the discount code for if you've never placed an order. And then there are other tips that we have too. I forgot to bring it up, but I have a box this big. It is overflowing with unopened essential oil bottles, and they are all oils that I have received for free. And I just when somebody says they have a need or they're in a bind, and I'll just send it to them, and I'll just give it to them. Here, I have this for you. I have it for you. And that bin just keeps filling itself. And so it's allowed me to be very generous and to help people in their situations that come up very urgently. But because there are programs where we're getting these for free. So let me share with you real quickly my top oils and which ones I feel like every home needs, because there are a lot of them and you don't need to have all of them. There are a lot of them that are considered the Swiss Army of oils that you can use for multiple things, because they have so many multiple compounds naturally that are found in them when all of them are coming out through a proper distillation process. So I'm going to share with you actually one of the ways to save money on something. There are like kits that are, when they're combined, they save you a lot more money than if you were to buy those oils separately. And so that's one of the best ways to save money. So for that, I'm going to share with you what's called the Make a Shift kit. And this is great for people who are just brand new to this and they're like, I'm overwhelmed. I just want the basics and I want to save money. This is how you're going to do that. So it comes with a diffuser and it comes with 4 oils that I'm going to talk about how to use and 2 roll-on oils. So we talked about those tops, those roller tops. Here you go. So these are among my favorites and the ones that people are likely to use every day. So we'll go over these just super quickly because I want to share with you and you can learn more too. I'll share with you some resources that we have for that. So this one we have Deep Relief. This is your oil for anything that needs that icy blue kind of soothing. It's amazing for that. I carry this with me and I've had people say something like, oh, I got this feeling this, and I'll grab it and I'll put it on. And they're like, that was incredible. I need some of that. It's a blend of a bunch of different oils that are really great for that together. And then the other roll-on is Stress Away. If you followed my information for long, you know that when our body is stressed, we release cortisol, which can really take a really negative effect on our body after prolonged stress, chronic stress. And that, can interfere with our hormones and our weight and things like that. So again, just using something quickly to really combat the stress that we're encountering and just relax and help just kind of our brain and our cortisol production just kind of be tamed down is very powerful. So that's the roll-ons. And then of course we have lavender, which we talked a little bit about. This one you're going to use for anything that needs soothing, whether it's something biting you or something burning you or just putting it in a diffuser at bedtime. I actually used a lot of it last night because somebody had a bunch of scratches and things from venturing out into the woods. And I used so much that by the time I was done, I could not stay awake. So it's very powerful. Peppermint, you may have heard people putting it on their temples and their neck for head stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Also, it's very cooling. So if you're feeling very warm, you can use it to cool your body down, whether you're dealing with that in menopause or it's the summer or something like that. You may have heard of the Thieves Blend of oils. This is a really great one for, when you're just protecting your body and your immune system. You can put it on your feet, on the bottoms of your feet every day, just to kind of help your body combat what you're exposed to and things like that. You can also diffuse it to really help purify the air in your home. And some people actually like to use it in tea as well and things like that. And then purification is one that's used a lot. I'll share with you a couple of the ways that we use this one. You can put it on and even put a spray top on it and spray when you're going to be outdoors and there's bugs out. You can diffuse it to really purify the air in your home. That works especially well when there's a lot of smoke or, just things out in the environment that are getting into your home and things like that. And then it's also a really great alternative to using dryer sheets or other things in your laundry. You can put it straight in your washing machine to help with the odors in your clothes. And you can also put it on dryer balls to help make sure your clothes smell good. If you're going to use essential oils in the dryer, I recommend drying your clothes completely first, then putting the oil on the dryer ball and running it in the no heat or air fluff cycle so that you still get that good smell without ruining any of the properties and things like that. So those are in the Make a Shift kit, and that's a savings from buying the most commonly used oil separately. I'm also going to share with you just a few things that I really feel like every home truly, truly needs. If we're talking about looking for alternatives to things that we might buy at the store that maybe aren't so good, the number one thing, in my opinion, that I use a lot, whether it's with kids or adults, or or even animals is Aoi oil. This is from the Kid Sense line, so it's diluted, it's safe for use on kids. I put a spray top on this, and I have another one that I put a roller top on, and I keep it with me wherever I go. I have a few all over the place, one in my purse, one in our first aid kit, one in the vehicle and things like that. So you can just spray that directly on. It has a combination of oils that are really, really good for helping soothe skin, helping, combat any unfriendly stuff that might start building up in any owies or things like that. And it's not too harsh where it will burn and things like that. So we've used that one a lot. And then let's see here. So actually, one of the ones that I have found to be really valuable to keep on hand is myrrh. And this one I have put a dropper top on, which is another option for you. And this one is quite hard to work with. It's a very thick, resiny oil. You can see there, I'm squeezing it. That's how it comes out. It's like a salve by itself. It's so if there's anything that's just really raw and open, that is the oil we use. Without a doubt, it does not burn, it does not sting, and it's very incredible at quickly regenerating skin. My kiddo had a very bad blister before competition for speed skating, and we needed that to heal up very quickly. And so we put this on before bedtime, and by the time he woke up in the morning, it was completely had brand new skin regrown over it, and he was ready to go. So I think that's a great one. You might hear me talk about Copaiba, Copaiba. Copaiba essential oil is incredible. So it's very anti-inflammatory. One time my dad was over at my house, and he is very sensitive to bee and wasp stings. So that happened, and I think he got stung 4 times on his back. So I grabbed the Copaiba oil and I put it all over his back. And my stepmom was very concerned that he would still need Benadryl like he always does for those bites. And within a half an hour, it was all completely gone. There was no redness. And they quickly made sure to leave with a bottle of Copaiba. So it's great for all kinds of things. It's dietary. You can put it under the tongue when you quickly need something for just anything that needs calming, soothing, anything like that, whether it's the skin, the body's reaction, or anything like that. And then also, I think I just have one other one or two, maybe two. Digize is actually what we call a lot of people's gateway oil. This is a blend of oils that are incredible for any like stomach, throat discomfort. If you're feeling something after eating a meal or something like that, this one can go on the tummy. It can go under the tongue. It can go in a capsule, and it can quickly alleviate that fire that kind of burns sometimes from meals. So a lot of people truly abide by that oil and keep it with them. One more I want to share with you. This is a personal favorite. We did talk about how essential oils can really help support breathing and things like that. My favorite for that is Raven oil. This is, again, a blend, and it smells very invigorating. It's and it's so good for breathing. So a couple of really awesome things. Now, I didn't know this was going to happen, but there is actually a massive sale. And if you're watching the replay of this and it's after the sale, this doesn't apply, but check it with us and see if there are any sales or discounts or anything like that. But I just want to make sure those of you who are watching this live or catching the replay in the next couple of days, that there's a massive sale that's starting tomorrow. Totally a surprise to me until yesterday, and I had already scheduled this class. So if you're wanting to start, there are diffusers, and there are a number of essential oils from Young Living on sale for really low prices. They're kind of just phasing out some of the diffusers that they have to make room for new ones and things like that. So it's actually a really great time to get in and get started. And there are discounts for bulk if you're buying a number of them. So if you have no essential oils or diffusers in your house, and you want to get a diffuser in every single room, which I highly recommend, the price goes down the more you buy with the sale. So we can give you information on that. Reach out to the person who invited you to this class and to get that information. And then also as well as like a discount code and things like that. So if you have any questions, let me know. Let's start getting to those. Oil recommendations for sleeping through the night. So again, like I said, lavender is one of my favorites for that. It really actually is great for if you're using it in the diffuser, but also putting it on topically. But there are a number of other ones too. There's so many to choose from, and it's really cool to see that everybody finds what works for them. So cedarwood is another one. Cedarwood is really great at calming, but also oxygenating the brain. There are some like blue spruce and Northern Lights black spruce from Young Living that are more woodsy calming, which a lot of people like too. So cedarwood is great. And there are some that are blends for that. There's one called Rutavala. If you've heard of rue and valerian, those are in that one, and those are really powerful for sleep as well. So we also have a Sleepy Eyes Kids one that is a good one to look at also. So that one is more of like the lavender kind of oils and things like that too, a blend of those. So those are some of my favorites for sleeping. But if you have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, you can contact me directly or the person who invited you to this. I want to make sure that you go to the person who invited you to this, because we have ongoing resources to help make sure you stay educated. The worst thing, not the worst, but one of the worst things that is so sad and bums me out is when people buy the essential oils and then they don't really know the full uses for them, and they just sit there. And to me, that's not saving money at all. So I want to try to prevent that. So we actually have resources for people to continue their learning. We have an app where you can look up all kinds of things and learn a lot more and get more information on an ongoing basis. We also have a private educational Facebook group where we're continuing education on these things. You can search in that group and look up anything basically, and you will find information on it. And we also have, sometimes we do challenges where people can just work on one area of their health together as we all work together on it, and encourage each other in those things. So the goal is really to make sure that you're able to utilize these on an ongoing basis. And you're like, I have this, I've used it once, I don't want to waste my money. So tell me what else it's for, and we'll take care of you and make sure that you're getting your money's worth out of these. And your health is improving on that too. So we have lots of great resources. Let me just make sure I went through all of them. Again, if you want to just get some more basics on essential oils, you can go to my website, healthyfamiliesforgod.com. There's a free essential oil course. It's an email course, and there's an ebook that comes with that as well. And then also, like I said, check with me if you were led to this class from me or the person who invited you to it for the information on saving the most money, the discount code, the loyalty program where you get free stuff every month, and you get 10 to 25% back on every order and things like that. So make sure you get that information and you get plugged into those resources, and we will take care of you. So if there aren't any more questions, I will make sure to get this recording up. And if you want the link to it, let me know. I'm not going to put it out publicly, but if you would like it, let me know and I will send it to you. Any oil that will help with blood sugar management, especially in teen girls. Yes, so I actually have a document on that with some of the really cool research. So send me a message and I will give you the document for that. And you can check those out. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Again, let me know, or the person who invited you, if you have any questions. We have lots of really cool information and resources for you. So I want to make sure you get all of that. So reach out. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to stop the recording and get this up on YouTube.